Why can't we have a seaside there? Wouldn't it be a lark, playing with the girls in Oatmeal Square? And he goes on and he talks about green crop. It's a wonderful, and there's never ever anybody written down these words. They went from pub to pub, and they were always sung in all of the pubs in Bilston. It's died out now. I think we ought to get the words together because I don't know all of them. But it talks about all the landmarks of Bilston, like in that poem. And it's a really wonderful idea of Bilston in a song. Now, I should just say that if we're just looking back nostalgically, which is absolutely appropriate and right that we should, and we've got this plaque to recognise that, I think we'd be missing something important if we didn't, as a consequence of this and all the struggles and the fight that went on, if we didn't project forward and to have some kind of idea as to how we were going to achieve what Tom Larkin had to say about going forward. And it seems to me that one possible way, if we're prepared to have a look at it, is we could, as you know, in legislation, there is now provision for town councils. We could have a Bilston town council. It wouldn't obviously, in legislation, have all of the powers, it couldn't have all of the powers that previously we had in Bilston, but there is a possibility of capturing some of the essence of our Bilston identity by embracing the idea of a town council. And in talking to different people, there is an idea emerging that that could likewise happen in Tettenhall, and it could happen in Wensfield. And these were the three, and indeed in Cosley, because Cosley, as we know, was split into two. Half went into Dudley, half went into Wolverhampton. Cosley was a very, very independent and a wonderful local authority area. And it's obviously one that identifies, the people identify it just as we do in Bilston. There is a possibility that if we were to get our act together, we could make an application. There is a process, and Pat, as our Member of Parliament, I'm sure, would help us. But indeed, I am aware of what was needed. It's been built into legislation over several years now. And it is possible to make an application for town council status. And I think if we're agreed that we ought to start giving some thought to the possibility of that happening. We need to pull together all of the organisations of Bilston in order to make that application, but if you're happy that we should start that process, then I'd be quite happy with our colleagues to start the process. So that's what I thought we needed something positive to end on. We're looking back over 50 years. We now project into the next 50 years, and maybe as a consequence of this meeting today, at some time in the future, we'll be able to say this was the genesis, really, of creating something new for Bilston in the way of a town council that could speak far more broadly and generally on behalf of the citizens of our town. Well, we're now going to have some refreshments. We did it this way because we thought that it was appropriate. We got all of the people that were officiating at the unveiling here, and we thought it would be wise to do it downstairs, and then we could all go upstairs and have our cup of tea, because Megan's made the tea, Megan and her team, and it would be very inappropriate if we didn't now go and partake of that. and some Harrods biscuits that are upstairs all the way from London, and but we thought, well, there's nothing too good for Bilstonians, so stretch forward your hand and have a Harrods biscuit. All right, so that's the end of the formal proceeding, and I'd like to, obviously, for us all now, we can have a little discussion, have a conversation about Bilston, and again, thank you all very much for coming this morning and making this such a memorable event. Thank you.